संवेदना प्रकट हो और पावन ऐसे सार्वभौम कार्य में आप सबको बल मिले। मैं भी जितना चल सकूं आपके संग संग मैं रहूंगा आपके साथ। आखिर में मेरी शुभकामना इतनी कि तमाम उम्र हम तो खैर कांटों में जिए, तमाम उम्र हम तो खैर कांटों में जिए। खुदा करे तेरा दामन गुलों से भर जाए। परमात्मा करे सबका शुभ हो। आपने बहुत आदर के साथ मेरी कुछ बातें सुनी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आप सबको प्रणाम।
કદાચ કોઈ હોય કે કોઈને હિન્દી નથી આવડતું તો એક બે વસ્તુ પાછું રિપીટ કરું જે બાપુએ વાત કરી હતી. આ દાનની વાત નથી જે આપણે આજે કરીએ છીએ, એ ધર્મની વાત છે. In English, this isn't about donations, it's about duty. બાપુ તમે પછી સીબી પટેલને યાદ કર્યા હતા અને ડોલરભાઈએ મને કીધું હતું કે હું સ્ટેજ ઉપર આવું ને ત્યારે એક્સપ્લેન કરું કે સીબી અમારા મીડિયા પાર્ટનર છે, એમની લીધે આ બધું ન્યૂઝપેપરમાં આવી શકે છે. એન્ડ વી આર વેરી વેરી ગ્રેટફુલ ટુ સીબી. એ છે અમારા રૂપર્ટ મર્ડોક પણ 1000 વખત વધારે સારા. કઈ છો સીબી? હા, મારા મમ્મી પપ્પા આવ્યા છે આજે, આગળ છે. અંદર આવ્યા ને ત્યારે એમને મને કીધું કે કલ્પેશ તારી લીધે અમે અહીંયા છે આજે. એમને કીધું ના, એમની લીધે હું છું અહીંયા, હું તમારા આશીર્વાદ લઈ શકજ. અને એવી રીતે જેવી રીતે એ લોકો મને અનલિમિટેડ ફૂડ મારું એજ્યુકેશન માટે આપ્યું હતું, એવી રીતે આ હોલમાં આજે બધા હું પૂછવાનો છું કે આપણે બધા મા બાપ થઈએ ભારતના છોકરાઓ અને છોકરીઓ માટે, એટલે એ લોકોને અનલિમિટેડ એજ્યુકેશન મળે. I'd now like to invite Mr. Chamaria. I'm going to speak the rest in English because for those of you who've heard my Gujarati, you're probably starting to get earache. I'm going to invite Mr. Chamaria, who has been instrumental in raising $3 million last year for Akshay Patra. 3 million. He didn't just raise it from other people, but it also included his own contribution. And added to that, this year, in addition to last year's $3 million, he's pledged another £200,000 for Akshay Patra. Now, what that all means is all the operational expenses, all the UK operational expenses, all the costs of all these events, all the events that are held in the UK, all the staff in the UK, all those costs are met, which means every single thing we raised here today, every single penny goes to helping the children, 100%. So Mr. Chamaria, if you'd come on stage, please, sir. I'm going to ask him just one or two questions before I open the questions to the floor. Sorry. Now, there's a couple of questions I had for you, sir. I looked at the video. What is it about Akshay Patra? I mean, there's so many charities. What is it that inspires you so much about this particular charity?
Thank you, Alpesh. Jai Shri Ram, Bapu. Jai Shri Ram. You know, the most inspiring thing of Akshaya Patra for me basically was the efficiency in which this program is conducted. As we have seen, it is a public-private partnership, and in public-private partnership, as I explained earlier, that it is government, and there are two governments, which is central government and state government. Both are contributing. So there is a contribution coming from the government, and then private parties contribution, which is the spiritual world, where ISKCON is involved. All their devotees are involved. So there is a spiritual world fully involved into this program. And then, of course, the public, the private parties like Infosys and others are involved. So the government is supporting, the private parties are supporting, the spiritual world is supporting. And the resultant effect is it's very, very, cost effective, efficiently run program. So that is what inspired me to get involved with this. And as Bapu also explained, that the second thing was that if you contribute 100 rupees, the beneficiary gets 300 rupees. We have all heard Rajiv Gandhi used to say that if 100 rupees is spent by government, the beneficiary gets 15 rupees. Now, of course, the Planning Commission says it is 30 rupees. So our 100 is becoming 300, whereas at government level, 100 is becoming 30. So it is not only a multiplier of 3, it is a multiplier of 10. If the government spends, it becomes 30. If we spend, it becomes 300. So it is a multiplier of 10 in that basis. But if simple calculation, of course, the multiplier of 3. But it doesn't stop there at the multiplier level of rupees, because your 100 becomes 300. But if you look at the cause, your 300 also has a multiplier. And how does that multiplier work? You spend 300 rupees to feed a child who is the most deserving, as we all saw. So you are first feeding a child with that money. Now, because you are feeding the child is coming to school. So your money which has been spent on food is bringing the child to school, and where he and she gets free education. So your food then multiplies to education. And then it's not only education. Once the child gets education, he or she gets gainfully employed. So it creates an employable candidate. So once it is employed, then again there is a multiplier, and which is that he or she can at least take out 4 person of the family out of the poverty cycle. And that poverty cycle is broken forever. Once they are out from the poverty cycle, they are out. So it is first multiplier of the money, then multiplier of the cause. At the cause level, education, food to education, education to employment, and employment to poverty cycle. So, I am a businessman. We all look for the multiplier. Where on earth you will get such a multiplier? So that's what inspired me.
I was going to ask you 4 questions, but I think you've answered all of them in that one question. Before I asked the audience, there was something Dolabhai had reminded me a moment ago, which relates to this multiplier effect. Because, of course, if you donate from the UK, then there's gift aid, which means that the tax you've paid on anything you're donating gets paid to the charity as well. So it's a wonderful way of making the government pay the charity all the taxes you've already paid. So that's a multiplier effect, certainly for my well-being.
Absolutely. Here also, if you give £100 as a charity and you give gift aid, then the Akshaya Patra gets another 25p from the government. So there is an instant multiplier from 100 to 125.
And although Dolabhai is with the Conservative Party and the government at the moment, he won't mind me saying that 25 pence is a heck of a lot better spent by Akshaya Patra than any government. Yes?
That's right.
Now, I'm going to just ask 1 or 2 people if they've got any questions to Mr. Chamaria about Akshaya Patra. I know you must have lots of questions for Bapu, but to be fair, I'm just going to open it for questions to Mr. Chamaria. So please raise your hands if you have a question about Akshaya Patra. to Mr. Chamaria? If not, that means we've done a wonderful job with the video and what you've just said.
Let me explain you a little bit more the impact in the schools this program has done.
Certainly.
The dropout rate in the schools has come down. The enrollment rates has gone up. The nutrition level has gone up. The classroom performance has gone up. And in one of the kitchen in Jaipur, we had girl-child ratio of 35 and the boy 65. After starting of this program, the girl-child ratio today is 48 and the boy 52. So it has really increased the girl-child ratio. In Jaipur, there was a study which said that 18% of the boys and girls said they wouldn't have come to school if there was no food. So this is the impact.
Let me just ask one question before we look for people to support this. What are the different ways people here can get involved with this? I mean, they've seen the video, they heard the wonderful things Bapu has mentioned, so they're going to want to be involved. What are the different ways they can be involved?
As Bapu already mentioned, that you can adopt a school. One school, if you adopt, it is £2,500 a year. By direct debit, it is around £200 a month. And you can adopt multiple of them. And this is for 1 year. And then it's your choice whether you want to renew, not to renew, but you are committing for one school or multiple for £2,500. And that's as far as the one school is concerned. But there is another product which is you can adopt one child, which is £10 a year, and multiple. You want 200 or 1,000 or 10,000. So we have basically these two products. But if you want to help for the kitchen, for the van, then there are, you can, of course, give more money.
Thank you, Mr. Chamaria. I'm going to ask you to stay here and give me a helping hand with something, because what I'm going to do now is ask people who would like to sponsor a school, or more than one school. As you heard from Mr. Chamaria, it's £200 a month or £2,500 a year per school. If you want to donate and sponsor 5 schools or 10 schools, what I'd like you to do is just raise your hand. A microphone will come to you. Please state your name, how many schools, whether it's 1, 5, 10, or however many you can afford, that you would like to sponsor, and we'll provide you the forms as well. So those who would like to sponsor schools today have heard all the wonderful things about what Akshay Patra does, I've heard all the wonderful things that Bapu said. No matter how difficult you find it to donate, as Bapu said, if it is difficult, then we all need to earn a lot more. So please just raise your hand if you'd like to pledge a school. There's a little 5-year-old child over there who just raised her hand. I'm not sure if she's doing that on her own behalf or her parents. Yes, we've got a gentleman here.
Can you just say your name and amount?
My name is Kamal, and I'll pledge one school.
Thank you, Kamal. Thank you very much indeed. Who else do we have? We have gentlemen over there, sir.
Good evening. My name is Vinod Takrar. I'm really pleased to hear, the kind of work you guys are doing.
We have.
Good evening. My name is Vinod Takrar. I'm really pleased to hear, the kind of work you guys are doing. And I think to donate to such a worthy cause, I think is a fantastic thing to do. And here I am, I'm willing to sponsor one school on my behalf. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else with hands raised? Yes, we've got one back there, sir.
My name is Vinod Natwani. I'll give for one school.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Again, if I might remind people, it's just £2,500 a year for an entire school to feed all the children. Limited, it can be to just £200 a month, and as many schools as you wish. Sir, over there.
Hi, I'm Manique Kapoor from Manchester. I'd like to sponsor one school.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. And over there, gentleman over there, at the back.
My name is Deepak Thakur. I'd like to sponsor one school.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Madam.
My name is Dharmi.